that this, once again, is a North American Soccer League playoff game, the first round, which is a home-and-home series situation. However, San Diego won the first game Wednesday night against Chicago in California. Chicago had now come back and on their home field won this game against the San Diego Sockers, a game apiece. And so they'll go to a shorter game right now, to a 30-minute game, 2 15-minute halves, and it'll be played exactly as the regular game is. Those who have been substituted for in the regular game may come back and play again. It's just as if the afternoon is starting again. Flipping a coin, I would say, imagine for which end of the field you're going to take, as normally. Yeah, there we are. Supposed to be 10 minutes exactly between the regular game and the mini game, and it has been certainly a good deal longer than that. I would say 15 minutes at least. So the referees, the officials finally out there, and the referee indicating he'd like to get them started, but not too urgently.
One interesting thing I see, you talk about players can come back even though they've been substituted for in the first half. Sanon, who went off very early in the first half, and we can expect we'd seen the end of him for the day because he seemed to be badly injured, is back on the field with his right knee heavily bandaged, but apparently he's going to start this mini game.
Okay, there is Sanchez. By the way, the referee might not be loath for a few extra minutes rest himself. There is David Socha, and he has gone all the way, remember. And how far does the referee run? Has anybody ever clocked that one out?
I think it's about the same as a midfielder would run, which is something just over 5 miles.
Over 5 miles he has run already today.
The referee runs it perhaps at a more controlled pace. The pace of soccer players tends to be very fast, loping, lolling, sprinting, a whole combination of paces.
He's had more conversations this afternoon than they have on most talk shows.
Conversations?
In a week.
Is that what you call it?
Yes. For the Sockers, number 14, Peter O'Sullivan, he scored their second goal coming in as a substitute. Played his international soccer for Wales, 5'6", 155. The official attendance, over 12,000 here today in this ballpark, which seats more than 45,000. Comiskey Park, of course, the normal home of the Chicago White Sox of the American Baseball League. There's Phil Parks, the Chicago goalie, clothed immaculately in white today.
Have his gloves on now, very definitely, with this wet, slippery ball that he's going to have to face up to.
Terry Moore is in it right back, starting this game for San Diego. And Roman, Ty Keogh, Julie V. and Donnelly are in. O'Sullivan, Gene Wilridge, Sanon is back in the game.
Yeah,
Up front with
surprising that, because he seemed to be finished for the afternoon when he went off.
Okay, Chicago moving from right to left and moving very quite quickly to start things off on this mini game. There's Long, Steve Long, on his custom left side, trying to lose his man, but not doing so. 15 minutes in this half now, remember. There's goalie Gross, leaning against the post. And let's see, we're going to call that a very urgent whistle on the part of referee Socha, and he gives the ball to the San Diego Sockers. Goal kick for San Diego. No score in the minigame. Whoever wins this moves on to the next round of the playoffs next week. Chicago in black with the yellow pants. If you've just joined us, San Diego all in yellow, or gold if you prefer. San Diego moving from left to right. Chicago getting possession again. And nobody really has possession so far in this decider game. Okay, that was Sanon with the bandage on his knee, starting the ball downfield for San Diego. Here they come, right to left. Wilridge, number 15, with the ball. And the overlapping fullback coming down the side, number 3, Terry Moore. There's Willie Roy, the Chicago coach, in his wet clothes. Another complaint. I think he's hollering to one of his men to do something more correctly, to mark his man, as San Diego has this corner kick coming up. Wilridge takes those most of the time for them. He's got Sanon in the middle. Sanon closest to the goal, but he went to a man shorter, closer up, and Chicago took possession.
I think an example there, Jim, of what you can expect. That was a good pass hit by Stephenhagen, lifted over player, but as soon as it hit the turf, it sped off at 100 miles an hour. There was no way that Russell was going to catch up with that.
And now it's really started to rain hard again. San Diego, though, moving swiftly on this real turf. This is not artificial. It could get muddy after a while, but that would certainly take a while. Quite dry when the day began, although there was a little rain yesterday. Well, Julie V was going down in there and ran into number 8, Rudy Glenn. There you see the rain and an artistic dissolve through the audience watching the action. Okay, here comes Chicago. Brunitsa with the ball, loses it. Brunitsa being marked very well all afternoon, except for one time when he got away. This right, Chicago in the black, but San Diego with the goal has the ball. Now Sanone goes down in the penalty area. But no.
Well, undoubtedly,
Play goes on.
We can take another look at that because that looked as though it might have been rather a bad foul, in which case, of course, the referee, if he's going to call it, will have to call a penalty kick.
Which would take a lot of nerve in an important game like this mini game, where you don't have as much time to come back. There's headed away by Cuellar. Chicago still with the ball. Dick Advocat, who has come in not as a substitute really, but has started the mini game in place of Ingo Peter. 3 substitutes allowed in this game for each team, just as in the regular game. And here come the Sockers again, and again they are frustrated. No control of the game by either side so far. In the middle, we have Stevenhagen this time, trying to get away. Oh, almost got it to him, but he moved the other way as the ball came in. Really a good heavy rain now. Ron Newman. Here comes San Diego once again. We got Sanchez in the middle along with Sanone. The ball to Sanone, who was injured in the regular game, but has now begun to play again. And the swift Matthew comes to the sideline. Looked like Wilrich had grabbed his jersey, but nothing was called. Over the end line, that's going to be a corner kick for San Diego.
Well, I think you're right. I think his jersey definitely was grabbed. And he's complaining to the linesman about it. But he did a rather silly thing there again, trying to play that ball out rather too cleverly. He lost it, and they've had to give up a corner kick. I mean, corner kicks in this 15-minute first half
It is almost
3 times as dangerous as they are in a 45-minute half.
almost as dark as night here in Chicago, as Chicago takes over again. Here comes Martin Donnelly, number 2. Julie V. lofting it in towards Sanchez. Sanchez pushed out, not literally so, but pushed out of the box by Mathieu. Sanchez now on the far side. He's got Sanone in the middle, along with Julie V. Still over the sideline, a throw in for San Diego. Pouring rain here now. Lofted in and headed away very well by Vukovic. And a shot by Wilrich that didn't have much chance. It'll be the goal kick. Remember, Wide World of Sports coming up over most of these ABC stations. Immediately following the soccer, we're going to run over into Wide World a little bit, but you'll still be seeing the Little League World Series, an annual occasion on Wide World from Williamsport, PA. Phil Parks, who's played very well in the goal mouth for Chicago today. He'd like to go to Soccer Bowl again this year, as he did last year with Vancouver. Had a disagreement with management, was sold to the Chicago Sting. You can see the rain now, can't you? Look at that. Really a full cloudburst now. I can't see where one team would be hurt more than the other by this rainstorm. Can you?
No, I don't
They're
think
both
so.
attacking
They're very similar teams in that sense. And I mean, what it does hurt, obviously, is control and the application of speed and acceleration. And they're pretty equal on those terms.
All right, here come the Sting with 8 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half of the minigame. That was thunder I heard, or I've never heard thunder before. It is so dark, it's hard to believe on your television screen. For some reason or other, it always looks lighter than it does if you're here in person, because it's really dark. The lights are on, of course, on the playing field. Chicago, Stevenhagen now. Stevenhagen back to Koutsoukis, the young American college player. He's a Canadian by citizenship. There's Koutsoukis coming in. Down he goes. And he stays down, at least momentarily.
Because he went down very heavily because he was moving at full speed. He may have hurt himself on the fall rather than the actual tackle there.
Field getting very wet now. In the booth, however, we're extremely comfortable. Thank you. Fully air conditioned. Vern Lundquist, you must be getting a little wet.
You're right. As you described it, it's dark as night down here, and the field is beginning to show the effect of the rain. It is really coming down.
Is it getting muddy now?
Only on the far right portion of the infield, not really out here in the midfield.
On the skin portion, huh?
Yes.
Where the baseball infield is. Okay. Still San Diego in the attack, but ball comes back towards midfield. Referee says play on. There was a foul, but he said call the advantage rule. And the Sockers still have the momentum. Is for them. And into the goal. Is it good? San Diego has taken the lead. Very suddenly, Gert Wiesokowski, a defenseman from Germany. The Wiz, we called him earlier, and he is the Wiz for Southern California right now. In the pouring rain of Chicago, he has given San Diego the lead 1-0 in the so-called mini-game.
And again, that's why we just haven't got Wilrich on that, but Wilrich was the player who started all that. There's a bouncing ball. It's not a good volley. It bounces about 3 times. Parks is late getting down to it, and it goes in just inside the post. So Chicago really got their work cut out now.
We have pouring rain on our monitors now. One of them went out at the instant the goal was scored. The other one flickered, but we have one, but we hope that'll hold up. Okay. Now San Diego very much in the driver's seat. 5 minutes, as you see, 54 seconds remaining in the first half of the minigame. Were it sudden death, it would be all over, but it isn't. It's a different sort of situation to decide the issue between these teams. Koutsoukis moves it across to the far side. Yeah, there you can see they're beginning to slip now. Chicago must tie it up if they're not going to be eliminated from the playoffs. If it finishes in a tie, this mini game, they'll go to a shootout. Let's have another look at Wiesokowski's goal.
With Wilrich pushing the ball through.
Okay, we're going back to live action because Chicago is driving. Granitza loses the ball, however. The worse it gets, the worse the footing gets, the worse it'll be for Chicago from here on, because they're the ones who have to be agile and score a goal. Lightning in the distance, pouring rain on the field, dark skies overhead. We've seen it all this afternoon. The first half very rough, the second half much more skillful. Another look at the goal quickly.
That was the ball flicked up in the air, and there's that volley. You know, it's again, I think a lot of that has to do with the speed of the ball coming off wet turf. I think the speed of those bounces coming through took Parks a bit by surprise, because normally I feel sure he would have saved a shot like that.
Okay, San Diego getting a little bit more deliberate in the rain. With their lead of 1-0 with 4 minutes 15 seconds remaining in the first half of the second game of the day. The series tie-breaking game. San Diego with the ball. You can see a chunk of turf come up that time as the player slipped. Over to Dick Advocat. There's Willie Roy looking on. Steve Long, the winger on the left side, coming down that left side, gets past his man. The man catches up with him again. Back out to Wressel. Wressel has Granitza in the middle, but Granitza is very closely marked. Advocat moves it across to Koutsoukis into Granitza. Granitza to Matthew. Back out again to Matthew. Into the middle, and that handle, a beautiful one by Wressel, was tipped up over the goal by Volkmar Gross. A beautiful, beautiful move.
A marvelous piece of soccer altogether, and credit Mathieu because he lost the ball, he got it back, he put over another good center. Wressel was in there very quickly with a leaping, twisting header, and Gross, a marvelous bit of reaction, tipping the ball over the bar. I was just going to say before that happened that Wressel was the man I would give the ball to under these conditions, but of course on the ground, and he comes in and does a header, because he's such a good dribbler, and it's very difficult once you've turned a fullback round with his dribbling for that fullback to recover.
Corner kick by Granitza, curling into the middle, but headed away by San Diego. And here they come. Sanon is all by himself down the middle of the field. Going not as quickly as he normally would because of that injured right knee, but he's in the game. The cloudburst continuing in Chicago. Dick Advocat now, number 22, getting it to Steve Long with 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half of the tiebreaker. Back out to wrestle again. This time 2 men were on him. Advocat goes for the ball but can't get it. However, Chicago does regain possession. And there is Derek Spaulding. Spaulding hasn't been in this game too much in the second half.
Well, he's primarily contending himself with a defensive role. He's not catching our eye as much, but he's doing some pretty solid work back there.
Advocat now moving towards the penalty area, in the middle, towards Granitza, back out again. Stephen Huggins in the penalty area also. Out to the corner to Matthew. The Haitian, the thunderclap overhead. A long, high lofted shot right to Bruce. Getting to look like something out of Wagner around here, isn't it?
Sturm and Drang.
Okay, throw in.
For the elephant we had, I suppose that
could be. Well, we've lost one monitor. We're about to lose the other.
Well, there's a little
there it
flicker left
goes.
on the other one. Yes.
Just a flicker coming back weakly. There's Koutsoukas, number 13, out of the University of Massachusetts. Played very well today. He's a rookie. Ingo Peter coming into the game now. Remember, he played the entire first game. When they started this game, he did not start. Advocate started. So now Peter can come back in as a substitute in this game. In this shorter game, the tiebreaker, each team gets 3 substitutes, just as they do in a regular game. Play has resumed with the throw in by Chicago. Charlie Ficus has also come into the game, number 9 for Glenn. Chicago trailing by 1-0 in the series tiebreaker. They've got to come back again. They did by winning the first game today. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the first half of the tiebreaker. And it's going to be a free kick for Chicago. Another thunderclap. Wall has been set by San Diego. Granitza with that powerful left foot. Nope. Too high. It'll be a goal kick for San Diego. Again, they lead 1-0 with 1 minute left in the first half of the series tiebreaker. It's going to have to be come back all the way for Chicago if they're going to stay alive. San Diego, a very good playoff team. Last year they surprised everybody by how far they went. They may do it again this year. They're a much stronger side than they were earlier in the season. They have Sanchez, whom they got from his Mexican team late in the year. They have Manu Sanon, game with their new coach, Ron Newman, just a matter of weeks ago. And Newman himself has made a big difference to the team. He's got them playing together much more than the rest of them had been before. Another discussion.
Yeah, that's a rather stupid one because they're complaining when a player behind the ball, namely Granitza, is not 10 yards away. And he wants to play it back because they want to waste a bit of time.
Okay, Chicago now with a matter of seconds to go in the first half. Up, there's the rain beginning to take its toll as Peter Russell slipped and went down. Unofficially, time is over, and there it is officially. The first half of the series tiebreaker is over, and it's San Diego 1, Chicago 0. Another half yet to go, and don't go very far at all because it's only scheduled to be 1 minute between halves here. ABC's Wide World of Sports coming up right after this from Williamsport, PA, the Little League World Series. I understand they had some rain problems there too today, but you're going to see the game. It's late August. Weather unpredictable. Ron Newman there with his back to you, the blonde-haired coach who came here in the mid-1960s as a player in the North American Soccer League, has the greatest record of any coach in the league. Willie Roy, who played his soccer in this country, played for the American national team, twice took over this team as an interim coach, finally got his chance full-time. All right, let's have a look here, Paul.
And I say a goal which I think had something to do with the conditions was Wizakorski picked up a loose ball there. He was unmarked. But see how low that bounced. It spun through very quickly. Parks knocked down quite quick enough. The ball escaping under his right arm, going in just inside the post.
Okay, now here was a very good save.
This is Mathieu's cross. A lovely header from Wrestle. That's going in. Soaring dive by Gross. Just tipped over the bar for a corner kick.
Beautiful classic type of save by Gross. He played a marvelous game Wednesday night. He's done it again today. All right, the second half of the series tiebreaker about to begin. San Diego 1, Chicago nothing. The rain harder, if anything, than it has been so far. San Diego must keep that ball away from Chicago for 15 minutes. That may not be that easy to do, but they will make everything very deliberate, as you see there. Gross, you see? Letting the seconds tip away, but 15 minutes is a long time. Chicago now trying to regain the authority they had for a long time here in the regulation game. It's going to be hard to do in the rain and the slippery going. The grass itself slippery, some mud beginning to form underneath the grass. Charlie Ficus now, the blonde American, bringing it down for Chicago. They have changed sides, remember. Chicago coming from left to right now. And that was Graditza slipping as he went for the ball. Excuse me, it was Koutsoukas. Good thing the powerful lights have been turned on here. It would be almost too dark to play otherwise. Thunder continues. The ball boy makes a nice save. Throw in for San Diego. And they maintain possession.
They maintain possession with a pass back from the other side of the field by Sanchez, which eventually got back to Keogh, pushed it back to the goalkeeper. I'm sorry, not Keogh.
Incidentally, the unofficial scoreboard clock did not start. So
maybe that's
we're just going to have to approximate the time here because only the official has the official time. Only the referee has the official time, and the scoreboard clock is not working. A little short circuit from the rain, perhaps. Long ball downfield from Phil Parks. But San Diego regains possession. As you said so many times, Paul, it's much more often than not the opposition gets the ball when you make one of those long punts downfield. Chicago has it now. Very, very difficult going. Throw in for Chicago. To Steve Long, number 17. That one was to the referee, if anybody. And it'll be a throw in for San Diego. Wilrich giving the ball to a teammate for the throw-in. He'd rather be down there on the right side. The playmaker. Now back towards the other goal. And Chicago suddenly has possession. Here comes Stephenhagen. Losing the ball. And coming quietly from behind him. Take it away. And here comes Sanchez. Sanchez for San Diego. Down he goes. Another man coming in. Takes a flying leap. We are told that the official scorekeeper got a shot while operating the clock and left. I don't blame him. But we are flying blind as far as time is concerned here. It's a 15-minute half. Certainly 3 or 4 minutes, I would guess, have gone by. Charlie Ficus now moving the ball up to Mathieu. Franz Mathieu, the Haitian. He hits it right into a San Diego player. Julie V, who's always around.
You can't say we don't get anything to drink.
San Diego still maintaining possession. That's all they have to do. Sanchez getting it over to number 14, Peter O'Sullivan, who scored earlier. Headed back to the goalie by Mathieu. Chicago now with possession. Ingo Peter, he scored 2 goals earlier today, number 14, and there he comes downfield, loses it momentarily, gets it into Stephenhagen. Stephenhagen heads it back towards Peter, and that was kicked away, I'll tell you, at the last minute by, I believe, Bizarkowski, the man who scored the goal in this series tie-breaking game. But a corner kick for Chicago as they trail 1-0. The minutes running down on their chances to stay alive in the North American Soccer League playoffs on their home field. Buckmore Gross always looks like he's grinning. It's really more of a determined grimace. In the middle, we have Steppenhagen and Granitza and Ingo Peter. Plenty of men waiting for that ball, but it is headed away nicely by Terry Moore for San Diego. And they come down from right to left. Sanchez is waiting, but the ball goes out of bounds, into touch. Throw in for Chicago. Now Steve Long with the ball for Chicago. Franz Mathieu. Gets it to Ingo Peter. Here comes Peter. He looks fresh now. That rest may have helped him. Over to Steppenhagen, trying to get it to Granitza. Can't. Ingo Peter again. Well, it's 5 o'clock in the East, and if you've just joined us, which you may very well have, this is Jim McKay at Comiskey Park in Chicago with Paul Gardner and Vern Lundquist. We're reporting on a fascinating afternoon of soccer, a playoff series between the San Diego Sockers and the Chicago Sting. San Diego won the game between them Wednesday night. Chicago came back here this afternoon and won the regulation game to tie it at a game apiece. They are now in the midst of a series tiebreaker, a special half-hour game, and in that, San Diego leads Chicago by 1-0. There's a matter of probably 10 minutes left. The scoreboard clock has been shocked out of existence. We're having lightning and thunder around the stadium and very heavy rain falling. This is Ingo Peter, number 14 for Chicago. Chicago wears the black shirts, if you've just joined us again. And San Diego, the gold, or yellow. San Diego, remember, leading 1-0. If they hold that lead, they move on to the next round of the playoffs, and Chicago is eliminated. It's a corner kick, though, for Chicago. Curled in, and again, headed away by Terry Moore, the young Canadian, who's doing very well since he's come into the game. We've got 3 men coming down on 1 for San Diego, but a fine Chicago tackle there gets the ball back for them.
We have a strange situation on a substitution here, Jim. They've sent on Timer, who I don't see on the original list here, of 16 players.
Oh, look out. There's a shot by Charlie Ficus, and a good shot, just a little too high. Yes.
Timer, they're supposed to use the 16 players they had out for the original game. The list of 16 players I've got here for the original game does not include John Timer, so I don't quite know how he's got into the game.
But there he is. Coming up, the Little League World Series on ABC's Wide World of Sports. If you tune in expecting to see that, you will see it, don't worry. Meanwhile, we hope you enjoy this soccer playoff action. Chicago in the black must score soon. They must tie it up at least to force a shootout. Peter Ressel, number 25. Now over to Franz Mathieu, into the middle. Several men there, but he kicked it too wide on the wrong side and right at goalie Gross. 14, Peter O'Sullivan. Back out on the side now. San Diego. Sanchez, number 7, with the ball. Again, remember, you wonder why we're not giving you the unofficial time. It's because the scoreboard clock is inoperative. The electrical storm got it. Now we have a foul call. Looks like a free kick for San Diego. It is. Another look at it.
No, you can see that the foot is in there very late. I'm rather suspect, but as I said, he is a bit of a gymnast, of Sanchez. He takes a flying leap into the air, but I mean, it was unquestionably a foul.
Okay. Now Wilrich quickly chips it towards Sanchez. Caught a little unawares. They had them and came very near to scoring a goal by it. Putting that ball in play very quickly, and Sanchez made a fast break himself. Chicago, of course, concentrating on their offense. They've got to score. But another goal against them, and you can forget it. Very unofficially, there are less than 3 minutes left in this game. Here comes Peter Ressel for Chicago. Banged away by San Diego. Headed back by Chicago. Mathieu throws a high ball into the penalty area. This could be something. A shot by Steppenhagen too high. Willie Roy very down now, as you can see. scored in the first half of the regular game with 25 seconds left, so don't count them out quite yet. Everybody will be glad to get out of the thunderstorm here when it is over. Here comes San Diego again with possession. Every second of possession brings them closer to moving ahead in the playoffs. Ron Newman had left the North American Soccer League. He was let go by Fort Lauderdale after last season. The referee has now just told one of our people on the field 5:20 to go in the game, so San Diego, Chicago has a good deal more than we thought. That was offside, if you're wondering why. And now here comes the referee rushing in towards Phil Parks.
Parks and Sanchez sort of starting to square up to each other there. Parks is feeling very sensitive at that.
Okay, here comes Ingo Peter, who scored 2 goals in the regular game. Gets it over to Peter Ressel. Ressel has lost his shadow for the day. Doc Lawson, by the way, he's not in there right now. And that'll be a corner kick. For the Chicago Sting, about 5 minutes left to them. Tying it up could force the shootout. Of course, they'd rather win it, but they've got to tie it up. Into the middle, the battle for the ball. Stephen Hagen almost got it back. Over the sideline, and we'll have a throw in for Chicago. Ingo Peter taking the throw in. Back to Peter. Peter Ressel. Headed up by the defender, Nukovic. A shot by Matthew, no. Wide.
Because that was deflected, I think that'll be a...
It was deflected, I think, and that'll be a corner kick for Chicago. Less than 5 minutes now. Okay, Matthew taking it back towards the corner. As you see, wasting not a second now is Chicago, and that'll be another corner kick. Wilrich playing very close there.
Too close, in fact.
Yeah.
Supposed to be, again, that magic 10 yards, but I don't think he is 10 yards.
And again, Wilrich succeeded in deflecting.
Got a free kick that time. It looked like a handball.
And they are calling what appears to be a handball. Either that or less than 10 yards on the corner kick. Now, it's a free kick. So referee Socha has called a handball against Wilrich. But Wilrich is succeeding in using up more and more time. We've got 7 men in the middle. Again, banged away by San Diego. Plenty of men in there to score, but try to get the ball to them. They've got 2, 4, 6, 8 defenders in there. Throw in for Chicago. Peter Ressel now. Across to Charlie Ficus. He missed it. And Gross picks it up. 1-0 San Diego. Closing minutes of the series tie-breaking game. Still inbounds. Chicago gets possession again. If they tie it up, you'll hear one big roar out of this crowd. Nobody seems to have left, although a lot of them are out in the open and soaking wet. Rain letting up a little bit at the moment, as a matter of fact. Still raining, but not as hard.
Chicago always a little bit hurried with these passes here.
Yep.
They have the time, but they're allowing San Diego players to get just a little bit of the ball, a little deflection. The passes are not going where they should be going, and I'm afraid time is really running out.
They're trying to get the ball down very quickly. Have some chancy passes. Well, they got it down this time.
Dangerous.
There's Cornetta, his left foot almost free. Watch it. Nope, not quite. He was calling for a penalty kick, of course.
Yep.
We do have a whistle, and down goes Sanchez. The referee accidentally knocked him down.
The referee knocked him down.
Yeah, trying to separate Sanchez from Arno Steppenhagen.
Steppenhagen again, trying to retrieve a ball that had been lost.
Let's have another look.
From behind. Sanchez is away. Steppenhagen with a totally clumsy and really rather nasty foul from behind, so they square up to each other. The referee, well, I don't know what that was, the referee, or whether it was just Sanchez.
Yellow card to Steppenhagen. Well, we had 6 of those in the first 10 minutes of the game, but they've been few and far between since then. All right, San Diego has the ball. Just a few minutes left. Scoreboard clock out. Electrical problems. Referee keeping the official time, but he always does. Throw in for Chicago. figure out how to tie it up? Well, let's see. Is there any sort of set play they might have in a situation like this?
No, I think the set play consists of what Parks has just done.
Yep.
Belted as far. It's rather like the Russians in the basketball final Olympics. 2 Olympics ago. You just get it as far as you can and hope something will happen.
Well, here they come again. Kutsukas getting over on the left side to Peter Russell. Russell shot! It's in! It's a goal for Chicago! It's all tied up again!
Oh, there you are.
Just when it all seemed to be over,
Yeah.
Peter Russell has tied it for the Chicago Sting. The scoreboard explodes and so do the fans. That's what that noise is. That's not the thunderstorm. That's the exploding scoreboard. And look at it. What an afternoon's entertainment, huh?
Well, it should come down to, I thought Parks was at fault on the first goal, and certainly we talked about the slippery ball going under the arms of the goalkeeper. The ball got down there. It's not a strong shot. Down goes Gross. The ball just slips underneath him. So we've really had 2 questionable plays by the goalkeepers who have allowed 1-1 scores. So it looks now as though we're headed for a shootout. Now, what that's going to be like under these conditions is going to be a bit of a mystery.
Did he just perhaps plain fumble the ball with wet gloves?
Again, I think it came through more quickly than he expected. You see, here it comes. It's coming along the ground, and it goes right through his arms because it's coming through more quickly, and of course it's slippery.
Again, we cannot tell you the time because the clock is broken. The referee knows exactly what it is, however, but it's certainly in the dwindling moments of this series tiebreaker, which apparently is not going to be the tiebreaker. We're going to have to go to the North American Soccer League shootout. We'll explain that to you if and when it happens. There will not be a sudden death period as there would be at the end of a normal game. Look out, here comes Chicago again. Out comes Gross, and he got to it. It was Steffenhagen driving on the goal. Lots of whistles here. He's saying, come on, put that ball in play.
Also trying to get the Chicago players away from the ball.
Yep. The long punt down. San Diego losing the ball again. Here it is rolling toward the goal line. Both teams apparently satisfied to play for the shootout now.
Well, I think the shootout can't be more than a minute away at the most here, but I think, in my opinion, it's a pity that a sort of struggle of this sort will have to be decided on the basis of the shootout, which I still consider as a bit of luck.
Officially, that goal came at 28:08. In other words, with less than 2 minutes to go in the series tiebreaker, and I think that is it. Well, we've had 2 games this afternoon. Chicago won 1 to even their series with San Diego at a game apiece. Nobody has won the other. It ends in a 1-1 tie. Indicates which members theirs are to the referee and in which order they will shoot. They then go one-on-one against the goalie, not as in a penalty kick where the goalie cannot move. In this situation, the attacker starts from the 35-yard line where the 2 officials are standing there on the right of your screen. He has 5 seconds to shoot. The goalie can come out or stay in the goal, do whatever he wants. The shooter, though, must shoot within 5 seconds. Now, it's in effect a 5-inning game. At the end of 5 innings, whichever team has scored the most of its 5 shots wins the game. If the issue is still not decided, they go on 1 inning at a time until it is decided. There was a game this season earlier that went to 11 innings. Fans chanting, "Go Sting, go, go Sting, go." There is the clock, the shootout clock, which will go from 5 to 0. The man is not shot by 0. Whatever he does doesn't count. There's a black and yellow flag, the Sting flag. The officials huddling, and let's have a look at the goal that tied it up.
This is what poor Volkmar Gross saw coming towards him here, because this is Russell coming in, and you'll notice this shot here. There's always a desperation shot. It goes through a defender's legs. Gross dives. He's got his arms in the perfect position to receive it, and it skids through him and rolls rather slowly across the line.
Through the legs of one player, then through the arms of the goalkeeper.
Yep.
Bernd Lundqvist is on the sideline with Peter Russell.
Thank you, Jim. Peter, you just saw the goal you scored. You told me you thought it was a lucky goal.
I think so, yeah. You know, there is only 1 minute and about 30 seconds to go. And we pressure, you know, the only thing is to try to shoot. And I think a big factor of the goal was that the defense man touched him a little bit. And with the water on the field, I think, I'm I'm lucky with the goal. But sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not lucky.
And you are in the shootout, right?
We're in the shootout. We're not won yet, but I think we got a good chance.
Okay, Peter, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Peter Russell, who tied it up. Jim?
Okay, Vern Lundquist down on the field. Now Sanchez is going to shoot first for San Diego. The visiting team, they're shooting first. It's the first shootout kick of the year for him, so he's not too accustomed to it, but he's a great shot. Earlier in this year, each of these teams was involved in 4 shootouts, and each of them had a 3-1 winning record in shootouts. But it's very much of a gamble. When you get to this point, both teams probably have an equal chance.
I think it's about 50-50 now. And of course they both got very good goalkeepers, but we have to see how they rank in the shootout.
Okay, 5 seconds to go. Watch the clock and watch Sanchez on the left of your screen. Here's Phil Parks, the goalie, has to decide whether to come out and when to come out. San Diego now will try to get the edge. The whole season hanging on the shootout for these two teams now. Still waiting for the signal from the linesman. Okay, here he comes. There is the clock. Here comes Sanchez. The shot is good. It's good. Just a good, hard, straight shot. He didn't indulge in any fancy dance stuff.
No, he did it. I think he played it as the shootout has to be played. Ignore the clock. When you see the goalkeeper still moving, or when you feel you're in range where you can hit a shot, hit it. Because if you wait too long, if you try to use up the 5 seconds, the goalkeeper's swarming all over you.
Okay, so it's 1-0 San Diego, and here comes Derek Spalding, who is 2 for 4 in his personal shootout record this year.
I watched Spalding practicing shootout yesterday, and he was something like 6 for 6.
Is that right?
That was against Phil Parks,
yes,
in practice.
Okay, well, he goes against Volkmar Gross now. Spalding, who becomes an American citizen in a week or 2. The goalie is out, and the goalie makes the save. San Diego has the edge. It's 1-0 at the end of the first inning. Willie Gross again, making a nervous gesture. His team is down again. They've been down several times during the afternoon. Leonardo Cuellar will be the next shooter, the other Mexican star of the San Diego Sockers. They lead 1-0. If he makes his, the pressure will really be on the Chicago Sting. But as I said, they're sure used to that. Cuellar is only 1 for 4 in shootouts so far this year. Here comes Parks out of the goal mouth. The shot, and it's 2-0. Chicago almost has to make one this time.
I think Chicago certainly have to make one, and it's the man who, I think it's Peter Russell coming up. But again, it seems to me, while we're watching it from Parks, it seems to me that Parks really didn't come out far enough on this one. He sort of jinked his way out, and as you can see, he was moving to his left, and Cuellar put it past his right hand.
Okay, now Peter Russell, who scored the tying goal in the so-called tiebreaker, will try to put Chicago back in the game. He's going to make this. He has a good record in shootouts, but not this time. Volkmar Gross swiftly becoming a hero here after having become a bit of a goat when the ball went through his arms and tied up the game.
Tearing his hair out there, but of course that will go down as a save for Gross, but really the shot was hit straight at him. It was almost though it was bounced off. In the first one I thought he made a pretty genuine save, but you'll see the shot is hit absolutely straight at him.
Now we have Gene Wilrich, 2 for 4 in shootouts. If he makes this, it's all over. No, wait a minute. That would be not quite over. Chicago could still make 3. But if at the end of this inning it's 3-0, it's all over. Here comes Wilrich. And Parks has been beaten 3 straight times.
I don't think Parks is coming out quite far enough for these. He seems to stay around about the 12-yard mark, and obviously it's not far enough. He's not closing down the angle enough.
And now, at the end of a long, long season, Chicago must score 3 times in a row.
And hope that San Diego don't.
Yep.
There's 1 more goal for San Diego, either the remaining 2 and San Diego win it.
Ingo Peter is 0 for 2 in shootouts. If he misses this, it's all over, and San Diego moves on to the next round of the North American Soccer League playoffs. Volkmar Gross has a perfect record so far in this shootout. And that's it. Wide of the mark. And it's all over. The San Diego Sockers holding on time after time, taking the lead, seeing that lead disappear, falling behind, have come back all the way and have won their first-round playoff with the Chicago Sting. Coming up, ABC's Wide World of Sports, remember, with the Little League World Series. Tremendous action this afternoon coming to you from ABC Sports. And we're going to have the Soccer Bowl for you 3 weeks from tomorrow. Remember, highlights on Wide World the next 2 weeks. Travel arrangements made through and a promotional fee paid by